All right, we're going to take a look at prohibition in the United States, where it came from, what its effect was, how it impacted society. Okay, so prohibition, the noble experiment. Okay, this idea that drinking makes you lazy, beat your wife, cheat on your wife, beat your kids, be late to work. It's a problem in society. So what's going to happen is we, as a country, are going to pass an amendment, the 18th Amendment, that is going to outlaw alcohol. Okay, and prohibition, what it means, you cannot make, you cannot sell, you can't transport, you cannot possess alcohol in the United States. Okay, regardless of age. So any age, it's against the law to have alcohol. Okay.
It's because they're stupid. That's why. That's why everybody does everything.
We're gonna look at the problems, but the government does not budget enough money, enough resources. They put about 18,000 men in the Prohibition Bureau to enforce this. 75% of those end up being fired for corruption, bribery, scandals, lying, perjury. It's kind of doomed from the start. Okay. Now we look at there's this history of temperance movements. You can see lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours. I know there's some, especially this lady. Who would not want to kiss that lady? Help me keep him pure. Vote against the sales of liquor. You see this one here is an interesting one. The Titanic carried down 1,503 people. Drinks carry 1,503 men and women every 8 days. And we'll talk about these more tomorrow. Okay. The Ku Klux Klan, which you've looked at, is going to be a big supporter of prohibition. We'll talk about why. So groups that are going to be for prohibition. Religious groups. Okay. Christian groups are going to be openly in favor of banning alcohol.
Fear is the nectar of the nitwit.
Is these groups that are just, that's their whole plan, is get rid of alcohol. Okay, and rural Americans. In the 20s, you had this clash of rural and urban, and these rural values, farm, country living, really coming in contrast with the big city life. And mostly in the southern and western states. Okay, these are people for prohibition. People against prohibition, people live in cities. The 1920s is going to be the first time that there's more people living in the cities than in rural areas, so this is causing an issue. Recent immigrants, a lot of these European immigrants, drinking is part of their culture. It's a way of life. World War I veterans, okay, coming home, serving the war, need to relax, and last thing they want is to get rid of alcohol. Okay, so these are the groups kind of for and against it. Now, obviously, there's going to be more people for it because they're going to pass it and make an amendment. All right. So you see, once it goes into effect, all alcohol has to be disposed of. You see them here dumping it into the sewer. People are going to resort to making moonshine. There's a moonshiners show now on History Channel talking about that.
Well, I'll need some beer.
To, take down his distillery.
Okay. I'm worried about the beer supply.
Into the sewer, open the barrels,
and the other case,
dump it in the sewer. Do not have it. It's illegal. Okay, busting down the bar. Now, what's going to happen is the big question: are people going to stop drinking because it's illegal? No, of course not.
Hey, join the party!
These speakeasies, which gets the name because you speak easy to get into them. Okay, you got to whisper. It's hidden. They're these underground kind of hidden nightclubs, hidden bars. You have people are going to distill their own liquor. You could get prescription alcohol. You could get it at churches, which is interesting. By alcohol sold to churches goes up 800,000 gallons during Prohibition. So either people really found God, or maybe maybe the churches are selling it off. Another thing interesting: doctors are going to make about $40 million in selling these prescriptions, okay, which again shows kind of the problem. Bootleggers, those that come in, smuggle the alcohol from surrounding cities because people still want to drink, they just have to get it illegally now, Okay.
You gotta get me more beer.
Prescription for medicinal liquor, just like you can get medicinal marijuana in certain states, you could get medicinal alcohol.
Oh man, I need a beer.
Some of the real stuff that was seized in a raid in Northside Chicago. Okay.
Beer! That's what I need.
Hiding it.
Me
putting a booze
love
vest on. He
beer.
makes his little bathtub gin, fills up this, puts straps it on both sides of his chest. You know, there's illegal alcohol. Get it from one place to another. Now, with Prohibition,
I can't take this much longer.
again, there's a demand.
I gotta have a beer.
Suppliers. Why are there drug dealers? Because people want drugs. Okay. If people didn't want alcohol, there wouldn't be someone to provide it for them. Okay. So what's going to happen is organized crime, the mafia, okay, is going to spring up in major cities. Okay, to supply people with their alcohol. Al Capone controls Chicago, you know, just, you know, what, 45, 60 miles south of here, okay, controlling the liquor business in Chicago.
Don't think about beer. Don't think about beer. Don't think about beer.
Only 19% of the U.S. population actually supports Prohibition. I mean, again, it's this experiment, and it's not going very well. And the 18th Amendment is going to be the only amendment ever to be overturned. Okay, so because it's, you know, the crime rate's going up, and you have people breaking the law, and you know, all of this corruption and bribery and scandal, the only way to get rid of an amendment is to pass another amendment. So the 18th Amendment is created to get rid of alcohol. The 21st Amendment gets rid of the 18th Amendment. First time ever it's ever happened. Okay, it's the only way to get rid of an amendment is to add another amendment. Okay, which is kind of interesting. You look
as far back as I can remember, Scarface, I always wanted to be
Al Capone, which is you have deaths due to alcohol. Okay, in Cook County, where Chicago is, you can see once the 20s hit, boom, skyrocket. Okay, leading to a lot of problems.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
With his son. There's his Cadillac, which interesting, you know, it's got bulletproof glass and windows and wheels and steel plates and everything like that. When they confiscated it, they actually converted it, and President Roosevelt used it for his presidential limousine, which is kind of ironic. Here's Al Capone's cell. Now, Al Capone, most notorious gangster in American history, he does all this crazy stuff with bootlegging and prostitution and gambling and all. He goes to jail for not paying his taxes, tax evasion. Okay, so because obviously if you're a drug dealer or selling illegal alcohol, you're not going to fill out your taxes. But even when he goes to jail, you can see the cell he's got: Oriental rugs and nice, you know, upholstered furniture. You know, he got some artwork. About 50% of the police force in Chicago was on Al Capone's bankroll. Okay, so there's a lot of you know, shady stuff going on. Okay, so we'll look at this more tomorrow. The impact ahead, why people would support it. So I hope you.